Hey guys, how's it going? Firebox here. Do you remember Greed is Good? This was the first competitor game that really tried to copy Dark and Darker, almost one for one in some circumstances, which was kind of hilarious to look at when I was making this video. Somehow this company managed to steal slash rug pull thousands of players worth of money, and it also got quite a bit of traffic on Twitch. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about this game, this company, what went wrong, and how they just completely swindled their player base. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Do you know how they say competition breeds creativity? Well, funny enough, there are two things that came that were good from this game. Because before Dark and Darker had it, this game had cross-character stash tabs with the ability to purchase additional tabs in-game, and it also had a built-in auction house system. These were two things that the community was asking for quite a while, and for whatever reason, this game had it first. And I do think it's possible that Iron Mace used these systems in this game to create something similar in theirs. To show you just how similar Greed is Good tried to be to Dark and Darker, I want to show you a comparison between this game's Barb and Fighter class skills. Now first you're going to see Rage Blood versus Rage. Rage is going to be from Dark and Darker. Rage Blood is of course from Greed is Good. Notice how the skills have basically the same exact text. Rage Blood is going to give you 20% reduced armor, increased damage, increased health, and increased movement speed for 6 seconds. Rage is going to give you 15 strength, which is basically just damage, 15 vigor, which is health, 12% movement speed bonus, and then the 15% reduction in damage. So the only difference is a few minor tweaks, but the skill looks like it was basically copied and pasted. It's like when you're at school and they say not to copy your friend's homework exactly, but this is basically what you tried to do, and you turn it into the teacher, and then of course you get caught for cheating. The other skill that Barb had was Terrifying Presence versus Savage Roar. Greed is Good did a inflict fear on monsters for 3 seconds, and then reduce the damage of enemies for 25% for 6 seconds. Savage Roar from Dark and Darker frightened enemies with the same exact meter range. They both have 7.5 meters for 6 seconds, and the physical damage bonus is slightly different. So it's another copy and paste skill with like very slightly different numbers. Now, if you think they stopped there, you would be wrong. Wind Rush is a fighter skill the game had that gave you 50 movement speed for 6 seconds, and even though Dark and Darker updated their sprint to change the description, way back in the day when this game did come out, sprint did indeed say 50 movement speed for 6 seconds. And of course they copied Second Wind 2, that recovers 50% HP over 12 seconds in both games. Dark and Darker did end up updating the 40% HP instead of 50 way back when, but originally it was 50, so it was an exact mirror copy. They even added the exact same barbarian weapon, the Knight Axe, aka the Horseman's Axe in Dark and Darker, with the same exact attack animation, as you can see here on screen. So yeah, these devs really did spare no expense to creating a very original game for themselves. Now, to give you a little bit of an idea of the timeline for Greed is Good as far as their beta test went, the very first playtest was for September 23rd. I personally did not play this. I did not start until the October playtest, but as you can see here, there were some things being added, at least that looked somewhat original. They had this Frost Mage Thalia with some different skills that at least made it look like they were trying to differentiate themselves from Dark and Darker at the time. And then they were adding some different bosses that were unique as well. So I personally was at least originally excited to try this game. This was back when I really hadn't played it yet, but I saw this stuff and thought, okay, well maybe this game might actually be good. Well, you know, maybe. Now, the second playtest was going to be on October 19th, which I did end up participating in. I only ended up playing it for just about a few hours, kind of a mixed first impression for me because, again, I noticed the similarities of the game, but I also saw some of the differences, like the trading and the stash tabs. So I didn't write the game off immediately, but I'd be lying if I said I was really excited for this game once I did give it a go. Now here we are, finally, the big release, early access on November 6th. I was here day one, and unfortunately, the gameplay was, well, really bad. There were tons of bugs, glitches, servers weren't working properly, and it was very, very clear from the first hour of the game that, well, it was really as bad as I had expected it to be, but there were a lot of other people who were playing the game, and a surprising amount of people never ended up refunding it, and this is kind of where the drama started to ensue, because a lot of people were blindly following these devs, thinking that they were going to fix the issues, and, well, as you'll see, that's not really what ended up happening. It's now 1 week after Greed is Good launched, November 10th, and they are starting to give grand promises on fixing their game. Cough cough, sound familiar? Like Dungeonborn. And they are claiming that they were going to fix the game lobby, giving it a more developed look. They were going to create a new pyramid map. They were going to add a new hero, introduce new weapons, give more localization support. They were going to continue to fix the bugs and the network problems that I had talked about that were there throughout the first week. They were going to work on anti-cheating measures. And, you know, it's always unfortunate. You can't really blame the players for, you know, succumbing to the developers' rug pull / scam. I mean, hindsight's 2020, you can go, okay, well, the game looked terrible. It was obviously a copy, clone, cash grab of Dark and Darker. But either way, it definitely sucks that people got drawn into this game, paid money, and then continued to follow the devs throughout the next few weeks, months, until they disappeared and pretty much just stole their money. Now, you know what's never a good sign for a game? A server merge within just a few weeks of official launch. So they decided to make a unified global lobby. So everybody was now going to be on one singular server, and they were going to do a wipe as well for whatever reason. This close into the launch, maybe there was some issue with merging the servers without wiping, but regardless, things were definitely not looking good at this point. I remember seeing the server merge and going, okay, well, like, there's no way this game's ever going to survive at that point, right? It's what Dungeonborn ended up doing too, when they removed the SA servers. So yeah, this was kind of like the beginning of the end. And funny enough, this was the very last update that they ever released as far as gameplay goes. And then the fateful day came, February 4th, when they decided to suspend the sales of the game. And, well, they promised during the time that it was going to be down, the devs were going to fully dedicate themselves to fixing the game, fixing the bugs, developing new maps, and making sure the game would be exciting and stable before they resumed sales. And they apologized for the inconvenience. Okay, so at this point you might be thinking, well, at least the devs decided to suspend the sales, right? So maybe it's not a complete rug pull. Well, you would be wrong. Shortly after, they decided to put the game back up on sale for Steam. And from here, there were numerous sales of the game as well, so they were actively trying to still sell copies for a game that just simply couldn't be played. And I did a little bit of deep diving, and I found a discussion from someone who claims to be part of the team that I really think you should read. This was a pretty interesting read. It was from a guy named Skirt back in September of 2024, who claimed to be the head of staff and community. I'm going to leave everything that he said on the screen, but I am personally going to try to paraphrase it for you guys, so feel free to pause the video if you want to read the entire thing. He claims that the game is purchasable, but not playable, which was true for quite a while. They're allowing the game to be sold to make money on those that are still willing to buy it, basically just scamming people out of their money if possible. Apparently the developers / team is based outside of the US, and they just simply had no intention on this game really ever being worked on at this point. They didn't have to shut down, they received financial offering to continue to work on it, but they just chose not to do anything about it. After choosing not to develop the game any further, the higher-ups chose to leave the game up in a purchasable state, even though it was impossible to play, which I do find very interesting why Steam really even allowed this to happen in the first place. The Discord also got locked with zero effort of giving refunds to players who bought the game. So once the server shut down, this person here, Skirt, lost contact with the development team entirely. So it was definitely over. And, you know, from there, they took the money, ran, and proceeded to continue over the coming months to take money from other people that happened to purchase the game just to find out that it was completely dead. Luckily, this story does have a happy ending. They did end up removing Greed is Good off of the Steam store to prevent more people from being scammed out of their money on this unplayable game. If you're one of the people who did get rug pulled, bought the game, and never got their money back, well, I'm sorry to hear about that. I would love to hear from your comments down below if there's anything about this game that I might have missed or experiences that you had that I might not have been around for. I really would love to hear them. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the little brief history lesson on Greed is Good. It was kind of interesting going through and just seeing this game just decline in players and just watch the devs just steal everyone's money. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe, helps the channel, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day.